Alright, there we go. Yeah, I could upload more videos and then record more videos and upload them in the morning. It did rain quite a bit. I could see it through the blinds a little bit. Well, it's interesting with like some of the frontline stuff I've been saying. It's basically kind of a lot like what I sort of thought was like people do kind of like hedge their bets one way or the other. It seemed like in the last, like after after the 90s and then like later, people were kind of like, it just doesn't look like it's really working very well. And so it was just like anything to kind of put on this side or the other kind of show for stuff or people or whatever. It almost does seem like people kind of like, it's like they get investors. I mean, I think maybe that's how they literally get money. There's a situation, there's this guy in the situation, and in the world that's to follow, you know, see, we all want to kind of gas everything and kill everybody, or a bunch of people anyway. And if you invest, though, there'll be plenty of room for you. And people kind of go, sure. And it sounds like what happened, like, in the last, 10, 20 years, was when I kind of got going, people were kind of like, you know, like with the loan scandal type stuff, they were like basically saying, like, you know, they were just kind of basically anybody that wanted to get on board, selling this side or the other thing, anything to get like as much money or power or more people into the thing as possible. Probably a lot of it was just simply giving out drugs. That's really easy to do. It just kind of seems that way, you know, and it was just like, because it just, you know, it just wasn't working out real well for him. I figured this thing's got to run on like money, at least for right now, and you do have to get like money from some sort of source. I don't know. Well, we'll see. I used to think with the helicopters, everyone that would fly over, I mean, it was just like how many thousands of dollars are being spent on each one of those like helicopter flights, you know, tens of thousands of dollars, and it was just like, you know, and we'd have like, you know, you could have like dozens in a day, and I mean like dozens and dozens, not like one dozen and that was it. I mean, it would be like you could have 20 or 30 helicopter flights in an hour at times, you know. One would go and it would begin to fade out the noise on that, and then you could just hear another one coming up over the horizon. Sometimes you'd have like several at once. Often, though, it was sort of like one would just begin to fade sound-wise, you know. They had like sound experts that figured all this stuff out. And then they'd have like another one that would just start to come up around, and then that one would get really close to the house and go over, you know, and or the apartments there at, 1758 Park Avenue Northeast, Salem, Oregon. Jeez. Yeah, show me the Carfax. And it's like nobody like gets shown this side of the other stuff. It's all banking on this side of the other thing is going to like work, and it had better work, or we're all in a lot of trouble. And it's just like, you know. Then I get on Skype with Hannah and I'm, you know, firing them off like, you know, all over the place. You know, and I kind of get this thing where I'm just like, what is everybody like being told? And it's just like, well, we don't see everything. We don't have to see everything, though. Yeah, we were told by the people that were selling us the investments that we don't have to see everything. I don't know. It's just, you know, kind of like the desire to kind of like listen to, you know, somebody selling you something and you really, really want to believe what they're selling you is like true or it's going to work or something like that. Because if it does, the payoff is like so wonderful or whatever, and you're part of a special deal. If not, though, you know, you could wind up getting killed, you know. The result of with like a lot of this stuff, though, is that I just, you know, people here, you know, I don't like you, and I don't know what somebody told you, what they were trying to sell you or something, but it's just, you know, I don't like you, and I don't really care if a lot of you like live or die or something. If somebody does something and you all just kind of go away, I mean, that's just what happens, you know. You know, if somebody else told you something otherwise, and yeah. Oh, we're aiming towards the houses. Dang, what are you doing? You go down an alley and it's like there's people all over the place. It's like people invest in the thing and then they like do stuff other people tell them, and I'm like, do you like know the half of what you're doing? And it's just like, I don't know. Maybe it's that kind of defiant thing. Well, I don't have to know, or I know enough. And it's just like, well, all right. Now, what kind of van maintenance thing is that? I don't know. Should you do the other side of these places? Well, I'm sort of like, I'm not really walking very fast. I probably should. I'm kind of like, just kind of going like, just enough to kind of like, people can kind of go, well, he walked by my place, and, you know. V is for victory. V is for Veraccio. I wonder if this is the place where I used to live, like up here, and then there was some place where we used to kind of basically zigzag, is what we called it, down to like, there was sort of like a creek and a swamp kind of place. It was real kind of, it was kind of muddy. I think we used to do it like on our bare feet a lot. If that's the case, there was no lake here at Lake Oswego. It was like mud that was down there. And there was supposed to be like a creek or a river, but we never really, I don't think we ever, maybe once I think we went around some way and got to it, but it was like, I don't know. I always kind of remember, I don't think like the longest time we never really, I never really got to see it. Okay. I got like that because there's a tree with a lot of water on it. Wow. Kyra. Isn't that the name of the kid that got, they said got kidnapped and stuff? I mean, I know this stuff's not true, but he was like on the other side of the river. I remember that because Joan Bent's son lived like over there. Which is weird. You think like Sarah Bent and there's Armenia. There's like Sarah Bent and then there's like what was his name? Nat, and stuff. And it's just like, and there's Joan Bent. There was Carl Bent, their dad, who like, quote unquote, died, and you get in this thing where you're kind of like, I guess the whole thing was like kind of phony. I have a brother named Benson, wow, I guess that makes a lot of sense, whatever the heck that's supposed to be about. And it's just, when people invest in like, what, I don't know. Unless I sign off on it personally, you don't have anything except for a salesperson that came to your house, or you in person, something you heard about, whatever, however you found out about it, and just sold you a whole lot of stuff that was probably 9 times out of 10, it might be almost 100% of the time, was something fraudulent. They just simply needed money and or resources or people to be in a Vancouver. And you just bought into something somebody else said about this, that, and the other thing. Everything I get from it's the fake news, like the frontline stuff with, one credit and loan scandals, and then the credit card frauds, and then the loan things, and the this, that, and the other stuff. It's like one thing right after another, and people never really learn their lesson, and the deals get kind of junkier and sillier as you go along. They like allow more people to get into the thing where, before they would think about it. Now they're just like bringing in just as many people as they possibly can. And it's just like, I don't know, I'm kind of like, all right, it's just like somebody said, maybe we got to go, once we go through enough crises, eventually the thing's like over with or something. I don't know. Yeah. One of the things was I was getting from the documentaries, every once in a while they'd say something like, all they had to do is somebody had to go over to the so-and-so, do such and such, or talk to the so-and-so, and then there we go. And it's just like, nobody really bothered to kind of do that until now. And it was, usually it always seems to be some journalist or like a filmmaker or something. I'm thinking like, I don't know, like 2010. It's just like somebody watched Skype already. Hannah and I on there. Watch. Especially in 2011. From January to like into like May, and then a little bit like in June, and then watch us together when we were like, together that summer. But it's just like, no, you don't get to see that because then you wouldn't invest, and they need people to invest. By saying this, that, or the other thing, It's that 1% that you don't know about, that can fell the tree in one direction or the other. It seems like the least important thing about falling a tree. The chopping it down and all that seems like a lot of hard work, it's true. But it's just like, actually where that tree falls, that's like everything. And that's like something I could tell people, and they just, I don't know, they just don't want to hear it. Cars like mine. But everybody's having such a good time, and it's just like, well, Okay, do you want to go this way, or do you want to go up and around like so? There's people there. Why up and around like so? Well, sometimes I kind of feel like if I go diagonal, I sort of cover a neighborhood a little bit better. I suppose I could. I never really actually put that idea into practice. Look at the bikini. I suppose, I could get into a thing where like people invest or something like that and they actually do get money. I would guess it's probably like that. It's probably a lot of anything else that they want. It does seem like the quality of people that they're bringing in is just not quite like what it used to be. So, I don't know. There seems to be a lot of people. It's like a free-for-all. I guess people see me as some kind of brainwashed, under some sort of hypnotic spell kind of person or something, and it's just, someone else has got more power and influence over even how I think, and nobody really bothers to say, I think before I invest any further or keep going in this thing, I want to know exactly, like, I want to be able to see everything. What's this person actually like? To be honest, you're really not my problem. So, the people that sell you this stuff probably actually care a little bit more about you than I do. In that sense, really, It's just like, you do this, that, and the other thing, and you turn my life upside down. You turn the whole world upside down, so you can live like here without big buildings and piping in water from the Yukon and bringing the whole world here. I'm kind of like, I don't have really any sympathy for you and what happens. If you were more likely to help, or if you get in something, you find out it's kind of bogus, and then you get out, that's like something. At this point, it's kind of like, you know, kind of like, what are you still doing in the thing? Well, we don't see everything, and I'm doing stuff that I probably shouldn't. And it's just like, well, gosh, you know? Where's that bird? There it is. Well, let's see. Nice house-ish. Yeah, nice house. About $1 million in this neighborhood. Uh-oh, there's people. Actually, let's see. About 10 minutes left. What I can do is put a camera on people and just be kind of like, well, you know, give you a little bit of scrutiny. Probably isn't that much fun. Okay, you got 10 minutes. You can go on the busy street here, go that way. Go this way. So I ran out of neighborhood up here. I don't know exactly when though, so. There's probably a thing where I should walk slower and show more houses or something, but I don't know. This might be an alright pace. I don't know, when I do things and things happen. I mean, that's what everybody's kind of investing in. Some are kind of like, we'll brainwash them into thinking and complying with whatever. And if you invest money in with us, you know, you'll get a free ride, I suppose. There's others, though, that are like, you know, we could just get them over here. We can use that as a tool to create a movement, a following, a cult, really. And then once that kind of gets going at some kind of time, you know, he creates a kind of almost a kind of a wave that no one can really deny or ignore, and we just bring everybody over here. This is what should have happened, you know. Well, you should have been insisting on like 100 years ago or so. Okay, like 5 minutes left. I was even thinking about going through Dunthorpe again, and I kind of thought, well, I've got about 3 videos worth, each one about 25 minutes, so that is something. And then I could do here really, really well. look at all this yard. Well, I mean, that's like nothing. You just bulldoze all this stuff and build up a bunch of big buildings. Ooh, it's a little more lame. No, neighborhood. A little more neighborhood than I thought. People like, slow down the pace. Maybe I will. All right, I'll go a little faster. 12 angry men. You know, of course, like in movies, you know, you reverse everything and you usually get the truth. Truth, saber tooth. Looks like a saber tooth tiger. That like a skull of one. Okay, there's there. I think it goes up to A, B, C, D, E, F, G. There's other stuff to do other days.